Alright, so this is a practice test. The big practice test is the PMT, practice midterm. So, what do we call this? So I'm going to call it PMT2. So it's going to be Mts Alg2 Pmt2 question 1, 2, and 3. And that's what I'll be listing under the YouTube. Okay. So the first step is Alg2 Pmt2 questions 1, 2, and 3. Okay. First step is to tell me what kind of function this is, what parent function it is, right? So we have certain parent functions. Those should be in your notes. You remember, it's you have the constant, right? Linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, quintic, okay, and then square root. Okay, all of these have graphs. Okay, they all look like something. This is f of x equals c. F of x equals x. F of x equals x squared. F of x equals x cubed. F of x equals x to the fourth. F of x equals x to the fifth. And then, of course, the square root is f of x is equal to x to the 1/2. Alright? So, it's pretty simple. Constant is c. Constant for c. Okay? But linear has a 1. This actually has an x to the 0. So x to the 0, x to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the fractional exponent is square root. Okay? The square root looks like the quadratic but turned on its side. You can't take a square root of a negative number. That's why we're missing this piece. Okay? So that piece doesn't come up. Alright? The constant is just a straight line. Right? Whereas the linear is a straight line, but it has a slope to it. This constant has a 0 slope, meaning it looks like the floor, right? But this has some kind of slope to it. Now, because it's x, right, then the slope is 1, okay? But linears will have a slope. Quadratic, cubic. So we're coming up and down, okay? Quartic, okay? That one's not going to... We're not going to expect you to know that, but remember, quartic has 3 humps, right? Because there's always one less than, or a possible of one less than the degree of the quadratic. So this quartic could look like 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, right? Meaning, if the beginning is a positive, it ends with a smile, right? But if the beginning is a negative, right, it ends with a frown. Remember that? So, that means the beginning part in front of the x to the 4th would be negative 3x to the 4th. It'll look something like this. Positive will look like that. Quintic, 4 possible humps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, negative, positive. Because is it smiling at the end or is it frowning at the end? Okay? So those are 2 possibilities. And then your square root we talked about. Alright? So you need to give me the graph. You need to tell me whether it's constant or not. And you need to tell me what the parent function is. So when you look at this, you see it's a linear function because the exponent is a 1. Okay? So I know that this is linear. The parent function is f of x equals x. And the graph looks like this. Okay? That's the parent function. Okay? With this one, they gave you the graph. So which one does this look like? Quadratic. Except it's flipped, right? So therefore it's frowning. So it's a negative quadratic. That's all.
But you still rewrite it, right?
Yes. So when we write this, you're going to go, oh, this is a quadratic. Right? It has an f of x equals x squared, because that's the parent function. And then the graph of the parent function looks like this, right? And that's how you would do that.
Also, for number 1, would it be linear binomial?
Yes, good, thank you. So I would like you to, like this one you can't tell me whether it's trinomial, binomial, nothing, right? But with this first one, could you make sure and tell me that it's binomial? So it's a linear binomial because there's 2 pieces. Remember that? This is all stuff from the beginning of the year. Okay? So that's why I'm rewriting this out so that you'll have these in your notes. Make a great cheat sheet. You're going to sit down Wednesday in class and hopefully all pass this. It's not a very hard test. I promise you. I gave you the easy one. Okay? Alright, next. For number 3. Remember, this was the one where we had to translate it into what's going on with the horizontal shift. We know that there is it's always g of x is equal to space, parentheses, space, x, space, parentheses, space, right? And then the number. Now in the parentheses you have that 2 from the square, right? And we know that horizontal goes inside, vertical's outside, right? So horizontal in, vertical out. Okay? If we're going left or right, adding or subtracting, it's on the right. Right? Adding, subtracting is right. Multiplying, dividing is left. Okay? You have to remember, is it a vertical versus horizontal? So if it's a shift, remember shift is adding. Shift is adding, and then stretch or compression is multiplying. Okay, so when it says horizontal shift, I know that I am adding. It's horizontal, so it's x opposite, right? Horizontal is x opposite. Okay, shift is adding. 6 units left. Left means minus. So 6 left is minus 6, right? And so with that, you should be able to go, okay. And then it's followed by, so I want to wait. I want to do this first, and then I'm going to follow it.